Greetings, fellow Americans. Welcome to Fireside Chats, State of Our Nation. I am your host, Susanna Tanner, candidate for House of Representatives 2026 and President 2028. That's what I get for stumbling over my words. So we're going to be talking about the National Wildfire Resilience and Forest Ecosystem Management Initiative. This is going to be pretty important for our entire nation. It is a multi-jurisdictional piece of legislation. I'm going to brief you on the main aspects of this particular part of our restructuring. And it is definitely a climate-related piece of legislation. It's very involved for certain and comprehensive. So I'm going to brief you on those aspects. First, I would like to say that one of the reasons I came up with this particular plan is because I regularly take trips to visit family in another state. And I travel through national forests regularly when I'm traveling. I have noticed that even in our central states in the mountainous regions, there is significant dead forest that is providing fuel for fires that have gotten out of control. And we have seen these particular types of fires in places like California, in Maui. Unfortunately, that was caused by the electrical grid, the power grid. But still, these wildfires can be managed. They can be, prevented. And this initiative puts into action what we need to reduce the amount of wildfires that we're having. Reducing the amount of wildfires that we are having will also reduce the amount of pollution that is thrown up into the air from these fires. And we've all experienced at some point the smoke from these fires. I've experienced it here in Washington, also in Wyoming. California has seen massive damage because of the smoke. And I believe that we saw from that particular fire that happened a couple of years ago from the man who set a car on fire, burned over 300,000 acres. That could have been prevented if we were managing our forests much, much more efficiently. So, created this plan. It is, like I said, multi-jurisdictional. It's designed to proactively manage wildfire hazards, mitigate catastrophic fuel loads, and restore forest health. By utilizing the dedicated 0.11% National Wildfire Resilience Contribution Tax, the program generates an estimated $11 billion annually, which is what we need to be able to fund this project. Moving wildfire management from a reactive and emergency model to a proactive and industrial model. There is a little more detail on that and how that works. The operational architecture is a phased strategy. So unlike traditional seasonal firefighting, this particular initiative operates year-round in distinct phases to ensure safety and economic utility. The phase 0 is the defensible firewall. FTC or FTE mobilization. This is hiring permanent year-round employees to oversee crews and safety. The fire line establishment. Before active thinning even begins, heavy equipment establishes a defensible fire line around the entire zone, the entire work zone, to prevent work-related ignitions from spreading. And fire lines are very handy for this. We've actually seen some successful fire lines prevent jumping to other areas of forest, to prevent from jumping even to destroy houses. So this is important. Fire lines are definitely important. Now, phase one is the decentralized processing. Now, movable processing facilities, or MPFs, these are deployable, transportable mulchers and sifters closer to the fuel source. So nothing that would need to be hauled in with major equipment. This reduces the logistics costs and allows for real-time material repurposing. So for instance, if you are some folks that want to go out and go into the forest here, help clean it up, you want to gather some firewood for your home, that is allowable. These transportable mulchers and sifters are allowable. Now, the site preparation is also it's very important. FTEs are for clear parking, access roads, and wood piles to prepare the zone for safe public and contractor engagement. So we're making sure that there are uh, specific spaces for any excess, like wood piles, and making sure that there's emergency access via roads so that if something did happen and a fire started, emergency crews would be able to get to those areas because we already created the roads into the areas. Now, this is just during the phase where we happen to be clearing out those areas. There's some repurposing and replanting that goes on in those areas to basically turn the forest back into what it was before we went in there to clear the fuel. Now, the economic logic here, turning hazard into resources. So this initiative treats biomass not as waste, but as a secondary revenue stream that funds the initiative's surplus. So there's product diversification. Harvested material is sifted into 3 grades of mulch, fine for fertilizer. Companies like Miracle-Gro and other soil fertilizing companies like that would be able to get a bunch of this stuff as part of the revenue stream. Medium and chunky types of mulch also, and wood fiber for particle board and biofuel. And of course, there's a number of other things that we can repurpose a lot of the harvested fuel from the forests too, that are ecologically sound, really good for our economy, and even helps replenish our earth in various ways. There's a 2-for-1 restoration mandate. In coordination with the state framework of Washington that I propose, which is an adaptation of the Secure America Infrastructure and Services Act, specifically for Washington. Forest welfare activities are exempt from deforestation taxes when they include a certified replanting plan at a 2-to-1 ratio. There is market protection for citizens who are encouraged to participate and take home up to 3 bags of processed mulch per week, promoting community stewardship without disrupting commercial landscaping markets. And this is actually really good for our economy because it gives us different ways to obtain the stuff that we need for replenishing our earth in various areas. There is fiscal integration and the environmental lockbox. That's part of the SAISA tax restructuring, the national tax restructuring. The emergency fund, there is an emergency infusion fund. Any surplus exceeding 1 year of operational costs is redirected as an emergency infusion to FEMA, the Coast Guard, and local fire districts. And those funds are badly needed, especially in high hazard areas. So one way or another, we have the funding for not only managing the forest itself, but managing the fires and the destruction that is caused by those wildfires. Funding our firefighters, our Coast Guard, and everything that goes along with emergency services. Now, the lockbox transition. Upon 5 years of proven efficiency, this initiative funding transitions from the NWRC contribution to the permanent environmental lockbox, which is lockbox 7, and that's of the SAISA framework, the National Tax Restructuring. 11 billion is easily funded in the environmental lockbox. It is designed so that we can fund these projects. Then the overall tax restructuring is designed so that we can handle these projects, so that we can have ways and innovate ways to clean our environment while still producing profit for big sectors and lowering costs for the lowest of incomes. There's a lot of ways that this is working. Now, there's also one more. There's a strategic ask for the governors and for federal delegation. The Good Neighbor Authority is one of those. Utilizing Good Neighbor Authority to allow this initiative, state-led crews to execute restoration work on forests, USFS, and BLM lands. We must replenish the forests. Not doing so actually creates a serious hazard for our atmosphere. We need ways for the pollution in the air, the excess carbon dioxide and such, to be filtered out. And we can't just do it with just machinery. It doesn't work like that. We have a massive ecosystem that we can work to our advantage for this purpose. And this is just one aspect of it. Premium compensation. Offering premium ICS indexed wages to attract top-tier incident commanders and safety officers to the permanent N.W.R.F.E.M.I force. That's the workers we're going to hire to go out and be permanent managers of crews to clear out the forests on a yearly basis, on a regular basis, because it's not just a yearly basis. It is not seasonal, it is yearly. It's all year long. This way we can predetermine what areas need to be worked on next, where we can start creating those fire lines for the next set of projects. There's a lot that we can do with this, and there's a lot that's mandated in this. Now, this brief, along with several others, will be released on my Substack in the coming weeks. I have included the People's Substack link at the bottom of the page, or at the bottom of the screen, and it's also going to be included in the description of this video when the episode comes out. You can also check out my congressional website, tennorforcongress.com, and that link obviously is at the bottom of the screen, and it will be also available in the description of the video. That is all I have for today. Thank you for your time, and may our path lead to peace and prosperity.